Good afternoon and welcome to the ARC's monthly self-direction webinar, in which we review important topics to help you successfully self-direct your services. Please note this webinar is being recorded and we will post it onto the ARC's website along with the presentation on our forms and resources page under webinars. Today, we will be reviewing the annual budget review process with our Director of Outreach, Karen Bradbury, and our budget manager, Michelle Nicholas. I'm Peter Cook, Director of Stakeholder Relations. So just wanted to go over a few things before we start. We're not reviewing revised budgets or MOPs today. This is going to be focused on annual budgets. We are going to have a Q&A session at the end after the presentation. So there's a Q&A feature in Zoom that you can use to ask questions. We kindly ask that you refrain from asking a question until the presentation is over in case we answer it during the presentation. And if we don't get to your question or we're unable to answer it and it's related to the annual budgets, please feel free to place a ticket or follow up with your CCS or the DDA regional office if it's a budget-related question. We're also not going to be answering individual questions about budgets today. This is more about the general process. So I'm going to hand it over to Michelle Nicholas, who's going to go through the process. Hello, Michelle.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Nicholas, and I'm the Budget Review Manager for Self-Directed Services here at the ARC Central Chesapeake Region FMCS. Today, we will be discussing the annual budget review process and specific things that we are looking for while we conduct our reviews. The first thing I want to discuss today is the FMCS fee. The ARC's FMCS fee increases every year in July. As of today, the fee is currently $205 per month. Effective July 1st, 2024, the FMCS fee will increase to $210.13 per month. It is important to note that the team should be using the most current version of the budget sheets available on DDA's website. The current version of the budget sheet contains 2 lines dedicated to the FMCS fee to support the rate increase depending on the participant's annual plan date. This chart shows how the fee increases should be displayed on the budget sheet depending on the participant's annual plan date. For example, if the participant's annual plan date is in April 2024, then their budget sheet should display $205 for the first 3 months and then $210.13 for the remaining 9 months of their plan year. If a participant has an annual plan date in July 2024, then only one line needs to be utilized. For example, if their plan date is July 15, 2024, then we would need to see $210.13 for 12 months on the budget sheet. The next thing that we're looking for is the total budget allocation from the PCP. This total budget allocation from the PCP goes into the yellow box next to the big red arrow. The middle and box to the far right are automatically populated as the budget sheet is completed. The box in the middle calculates the budget lines as they are entered. The third box, known as the unallocated funds, subtracts the total of the budget sheet from the total budget allocation. The FMCS will not accept budget sheets that are in the negative. The boxes will turn red if it is over budget. The FMCS is required to ensure that the budget sheets match the approved PCP as closely as possible. This includes the dates. The effective date on the budget sheet must match the PCP. The annual implementation date on the budget sheet is the day that the annual PCP begins. Please note that the annual PCP date on the PCP is not the same as the annual plan date on the budget sheet. Typically, what you see on the PCP, the annual plan date has the year listed as the following year. The budget sheet calculates the number of weeks and the weeks and months remaining in the plan based on the dates entered. If you use incorrect dates on the budget sheet, then the weeks and months remaining will not calculate accurately. It is important to note that when you are completing the annual budget sheet, that the team is using 52.143 weeks. Please note that 52.140 weeks will not calculate the same amount of funding as 52.143 weeks. Another issue that we are often seeing during our reviews are correct dates, but entered in an incorrect format. The budget sheet does not allow for multiple dates to be entered on the same line. These are some examples of incorrect date formatting on the budget sheet. You will see that underneath of the dates where it says number of months or number of weeks left in plan, it has the pound sign or hashtag symbol depending on your generation. Here is an example of the dates being entered correctly. You will see that the correct format is the month followed by a /, then the day followed by a /, and then the 4-digit year. The role of the FMCS is to ensure that the budget sheets match the PCP's authorized service and service units. In the PCP's detailed service authorization, also known as the DSA, the services, units, and costs associated with the services are listed. The CCS enters the requested services into the PCP in LTSS, and then LTSS automatically converts the information into something called units. Most services, such as personal support, community development services, and others, are converted into a 15-minute unit. The budget sheets are a visual representation of those service units. While the PCP displays information in units, the budget sheet requires that information is listed in hours for most services. The budget review team converts the information in the DSA using the following formula. First, you take the total number of units and you divide it by 4 to get the total number of hours. Then, the total number of hours is divided by the total number of weeks. This will give you the number of hours per week for a number of weeks. Here is an example of what the DSA looks like and how that information is translated to the budget sheets. In this example, you will see that this participant is authorized for 2,088 total units for the plan year. 2,088 units divided by 4 equals 522 hours. 522 hours divided by 52.143 weeks equals 10 hours per week for 52.143 weeks. It is important that the hours on the budget sheet match the number of hours in the PCP's DSA. Please note that the dollar amount does not need to match the PCP. The only time the dollar amount should match the PCP is when it is an upper pay limit service. Examples of upper pay limit services include, but are not limited to, respite camp, transportation, assistive technology and services, environmental modification, and vehicle modification. There are some services that will not be listed in the PCP's DSA. These include individual and family directed goods and services, also known as IFDGS, and day-to-day administrator. Please note that IFDGS recruitment and advertisement is a DDA authorized service that must be requested in the PCP. Any questions?
Hey guys, so it looks like we have a couple questions already in the Q&A box. I know that someone is asking for a copy of the presentation from today's webinar that will be posted on our website at some point. I think we also sent out an email with the link to a recording of the webinar along with the presentation slides. And it looks like someone else is asking what our FMCS monthly rate is effective July 1st, 2024. And our monthly fee increases to $210.13 per month effective July 1st. I'm not seeing any other questions at this point. So we'll give it a few more minutes. I know that somebody's asking about budget usage and whether or not that would influence DDA's approval or authorization of that service. That would really be a question for your CCS or DDA's regional office, as we do not do any authorization of funding or or services in the PCP. Just waiting on some more questions to come in. So I know that there's a question regarding budget modifications. At this point, I think it's effective January 1st, 2024. All budget modifications go to DDA for review, so DDA would need to provide specifics on their timelines for approvals. And another question regarding IFDGS. IFDGS, or Individual Family Goods and Services Request Form Approvals. I believe when DDA's regional offices approve those requests, the team should receive emails regarding those approvals. So if you guys have any questions about IFDGS approvals, please reach out to your DDA regional office. And that is correct. So when IFDGS requests are approved, we do receive approvals, but you would really want to connect with your regional office about any questions regarding that process. And that is correct. All budget modifications effective January 1st of this year are sent to the DDA for review. As far as I'm aware of, there are no other rate changes at this time other than the FMCS fee. And IFDGS is something that you would want to work with your CCS. There's a whole list of IFDGS items that DDA authorizes payment for, and those can be found on DDA's website.
Okay, we're just going to give it one more minute here to see if any other questions related to the annual budget process come in. Thanks to Michelle for giving that presentation.
But yeah, we appreciate everybody popping on today. We feel like as people go into a lot of people go into their annual planning for the upcoming budget year. Hopefully this is useful. And we do have a question about mileage rates within budgets. It's really dependent on the employer. So whatever the employer feels comfortable paying per mile for their staff, as long as it does not exceed the IRS mileage maximum, you guys should be able to utilize that mileage rate.
Great. So I think that wraps up the Q&A session. Again, if you have any questions, you can always feel free to place a ticket. We just wanted to let you know that we will not be having a monthly webinar next month, but we should be back the month after that. So once again, this webinar recording will be posted on the Forms and Resources page of our website, along with the presentation for anybody who missed it. We thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you so much.